Welcome back, my loyal viewers, to the Alarmists. Conspiracy theories and coffee? Not today. It's conspiracy theories and wine because we are Vive la Revolution. We are going to France today in the Avignon Montpellier region in Beaucaire. We're going to talk about what's going on in France. As you know, COVID is out of control all over the world, but people still got to live. And I've got my friend Barney Lehrer, who I've known for over 10 years. He's an expert in the wine business, an expert in the technical tech business. We've got Andre Mazzi, who used to be the great general manager of the legendary La Mer Germain in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. He is still in the wine business. He's still in the restaurant business, and he's become one of the leading real estate entrepreneurs in France. Let me bring you guys on. Barney Lehrer, Andre Mazzi, welcome to the Alarmists.
Hey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jesse.
How are you guys? Enchanté.
I have to correct one thing, Jesse. We know each other for almost 20 years, to tell you the truth.
Oh my God, but it only felt like 10. That's a good thing. And that means, Andre, I know you for almost the same amount of time.
Yeah, something like 15 years. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And the one of the last time we saw each other, he was having a glass of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, the Mode du Banneret, and a piece of foie gras. and typing a report.
You never forget. You remember everything. Oh my God.
Exactly. That's.
But here we have an American stuck in France. We have a Frenchman who's in the thick of it all. And with COVID raging like it is, with the highest numbers since this pandemic began, over 50 million infected, I want to know from you guys who are in the thick of it there, what are your thoughts about this, both in France and America? Because right now it is out of control. In New York alone, we had almost 4,000 cases in one night. Texas has now become the first state to go over 1 million infected. But you know what? We still have to live. I have my wine here. I have my family. Thank God I live in the Hamptons where I can be away from the craziness of New York City. But I want to know from you guys what's going on. Let's start with Andre Mazzi. Why don't you tell me what's going on in your neck of the woods and what you're seeing in France with this crazy COVID-19 pandemic going on?
Well, first of all, we have a big difference between the first pandemic, March, April, and right now. We do have well, we have a good point in France because we are very protected by the French law and the medicine. But for the last 10 days, 2 days ago, we had more than 60,000 people was infected in one day.
Wow.
Today was I checked just before to be with you, 42,000. 42,000.
Well, you know what? Let's give the viewers some perspective. France is the same size as Texas. So to have 60,000 cases in France in one day is out of control.
Exactly.
Population, it's 1/5 the size of the United States. So in fact, if it's even 40,000 today, that would mean like over 200,000 in one day in the States.
Wow. Now, how are you able to maintain? I mean, Barney, I see you posting every day. You're going on this little visit to this local village, and you seem to be managing to have a normal life. Is being in the countryside making it easier to sort of thumb your nose at this virus and say, the hell with this, I'm still going to live my life? Give me your take, Barney, on what you've been able to do each day.
Well, first of all, since October 30th, nobody in France is allowed to go out of their house for more than 1 hour. And we have to stay within 1 kilometer of where we live.
Oh, my God.
So our last little trip was the day before this latest lockdown on the 29th. And we were having a wonderful time. We did a lot of travels around the south of France. We took a boat on the Canal du Midi for a few days. That's where I learned about Minervois wine, which I'm drinking right now. And we were having a nice life. But then things started to happen very quickly here. All of a sudden, from after the last lockdown in May, for example, there may have been like 50 to 100 cases in all of France. And the summer came along and most of Europe showed up around here. And everybody was on the beach and in restaurants and bars and everything else. And I
But not
think
in
that's,
Beaucaire, Barney, right? Not in Beaucaire. Beaucaire is like
oh,
this.
even in Beaucaire, restaurants were crowded. Everybody was having a good time. Sure.
Wow. Wow. It's like
And
the Hamptons. Everybody, the Hamptons now,
yeah,
no more, it's the first time since I've been living out here that every single house is occupied. There is no inventory. You know, real estate, Andre, no inventory. The value of my house has gone up almost 60% in just a few months. What are you
yeah.
seeing, Andre, in the real estate industry there?
It's very special because I'm real estate, but we are specialized in the business and well, not in properties, not in houses and everything. And we are very surprised. Why? Because Barney was saying that if everybody was not supposed to go out. We do. We never worked so much like since March. So it's a bit strange because restaurants are closed, bars and everything. But at the same time, buying big business, we did more than I think more than 40%, more than 40% than last year.
You're
So
thriving in this environment. That's amazing. That's great.
absolutely yes, absolutely.
We need the restaurant industry. We need the wine industry. If it wasn't for wine, I might be in jail right now.
Alors, this is interesting because we do have on one side people who need money and have to sell the business and they have no choice, and on the other side we have the people who want to invest. So we are in between, and I thank God for that because it's a new job for me, and I realized that it's pretty good. Alors, of course, I'm sad to see that because when you have to sell your business because you have no choice. But you see, for the last 3-4 weeks, people are not supposed to go out, but we drive. I'm driving. I'm working every day, and
You wear
I'm
the
surprised
mask.
that
You wear the mask.
of course, everywhere wear mask here.
Well, in America, we
Everywhere,
have a problem with that. We have a big problem.
Everybody, we have that was a big issue during the summertime, but now everybody has to do it. At the same time, we protect ourselves, of course. And when we saw the election, because in France the American election is, I was looking at a TV show just a few minutes ago for the last 3 hours, talking about the American election. We are very surprised to see thousands and thousands of people with no mask and everything. For us,
Everywhere.
today is impossible to act that way. This is impossible.
Everywhere. I am
everybody.
I'm on defense. I have 2 young girls. My daughter's 14 years old. My wife. We are on defense every single time we go out. It is incredible. I mean, I have had people come up to me with no mask, and I've had to say, back off, back off. There is this people screaming, my rights, my rights, although that seems to be dissipating a lot more, but it's horrible. I mean, it's been proven now. In fact, it just came out today with another report that not only wearing the masks, protects you from getting COVID, it also stops you from giving it to somebody else. You know what your rights are? Your rights are to keep the person next to you safe. What's your take?
Right. But you'll be surprised because I was a few days ago in Marseille, and young people were asking me, "Do you believe in COVID-19? Do you think it's really? You believe in that?" In other words, we're still having people here in this country.
Well, this is conspiracy theories and wine tonight.
Exactly. Voilà. You get it, yeah.
And what about you, Barney? Are you hearing anything? I mean, are you and Madeline pretty much isolated?
We're pretty much isolated now for the last 10 days. We haven't been, well, we have next door neighbors we had drinks with a few days ago, but other than that, we're just isolated. Yeah.
And what do you do every day?
What's that?
What are you able to do every day to keep your interest? You're reading? Are you watching a lot of movies? Are you going through more wine than you normally do?
Gone through quite a bit of wine. Yeah. We keep ourselves busy. We have different projects. I have a couple of work projects here and there, and we are allowed to go out and go for a walk. So we walk for a few miles today. We go shopping. That's the big highlight of the day, going shopping.
How is it affecting your relationship? Because you keep hearing about these divorces popping up and people having fights.
We're doing great. We're doing great. We're getting along.
All right, so
Very
you
well.
married the right girl. I'm very happy.
Exactly.
And what about you, Andre? You're lonely. Is that why you're hanging out with your brother? Come on, I want the truth.
Alors, you want the truth?
You can't handle the truth.
Should I be honest with you? Yes, I have to.
Nah, lie, man. You want to get one of these? I'll sell you one cheap.
Well, I'm single since the first lockdown.
What happened?
So, yes.
What did you
I'm
do?
single.
What did you do?
I spent too much time with her, and when I used to go to the office and everything, and of course I spent too much time with her. So we're still very good friends. We call each other every day, but I'm single. So if it's
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a real Frenchman who knows everything about food,
but I feel closer to the American lady actually. I need to practice my American. And guys, that have been living in Nebraska when I was young.
I like the way you say I have to practice my American, not my English.
Now, when I was not when I was young, when I was younger, I used to live in Nebraska, and I do love your country.
Nebraska?
You know that.
You lived in Nebraska? Why?
I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and I say hello to all my fellows.
Now, I want to tell my viewers a little bit about our history together, the two of us, the three of us. Barney and I used to go to France to visit all the great winemakers every single year, and we did it for almost 10 years. And it was incredible. We had this kind of like this tradition. Every single January, February, around that time, we would start planning over the summer. And I remember the first year that we did it, I would set up lunches and tastings at Chateau Margaux, at Léville-Barton with Anthony Barton. I mean, we lived the life. And the first place we stayed was at La Mer Germain. And this amazing man named Andre Mazzi comes to me. I said, Andre, I need a computer. My computer said, "Foo, it's gone. It's crazy. It's nothing." And he gives me a computer in the downstairs office. And suddenly an old gentleman named Jean-Claude Vidal shows up and says, Andre says you're working very hard. I bring you my banneret, a little foie gras, bon appétit. There we go.
Yeah. One of them, probably one of them. You're absolutely right.
And an incredible camaraderie, an incredible friendship. We would go to Jean-Claude and his wife's apartment. We would eat cassoulet, and he would open old bottles. We'd play Guess Which Vintage. Barney, you and I, we had lunch with Anthony Barton from Léville Barton 2 times, not once, twice, and talked about the Beatles. Barney actually got one of his old vintages, right? Remember when he had us get vintage, the 90?
It was 1990, I think. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was the 90. I remember it like it was yesterday. The point of me telling the viewers about all of this is the great life experiences that we have had. There's no words, no photograph that can encapsulate everything that Andre and Barney and I did. We lived it, man. We had this amazing, amazing experience. And I'm putting it out there again. When this is over, we have to do it again.
Sure. Well, as a follow-up to Andre and Jean-Claude Vidal, thanks to Andre, I bought Jean-Claude's car. So I have a car that used to belong to Jean-Claude.
You bought the winemaker's car?
That's right.
That's true.
He gave me a pretty good price too, actually. But I insisted on having. The deal was I had to pay 2,800 euros for the car, but I insisted on getting this bottle of wine as part of the deal. So that was.
What vintage? I can't see. What vintage?
2011.
It's what year?
2011.
Why 2011?
That's what he offered.
Beggars can't be choosy. Yes. Yeah. Wow. So you bought, what kind of car did Jean-Claude have that you were so eager to buy?
Well, I needed a car, and I wasn't going to spend a lot of money. It was a Peugeot 1007, which is actually it's a very cool car. It's
the wine drink better than the car?
No, the car's fine. It's a small car. it has doors that slide open, so you don't have to open the doors. You just push a button and the doors slide open.
At your age, it's good. It's good. What color is it? I hope it's not flaming red or anything like that.
No, it's like a soft white, kind of a.
So what is
beige
John Cole
color.
driving now? A Tesla?
No, well, thanks to his rich son-in-law, he now has this beautiful BMW SUV. So he's living it.
Proud. That's amazing. You driving? What do you drive, Andre?
I drive
Yeah.
a Mercedes. I drive a Mercedes, German car.
Oh, very
but-
classy, man. Which
No.
model? I like Mercedes.
No, this is an old one for it's E200.
You like it?
Yes, I love it. Yeah,
I
But,
have a Lexus. I have two Lexuses, actually. I have an ES350 and I have an SC430 convertible. That car is almost 20 years old, and I'm telling you, my mechanic said to me, this car and this engine will live longer than you will. I said, what do you mean? No, but cars, I love cars. And my wife loves cars. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing with cars. Now, my wife and I love France. Since we're talking about my wife, when can we come back? You know, what are they doing in France to make it safe again? Because I want to come back, you know, from the tourism side. Restaurants and winemakers, you know, they're the only thing I think that's keeping the joie de vivre alive while everybody's under lockdown. Give me a little inside skinny on what's going on there when it comes to winemaking and restaurants. Andre?
well, yes,
Everybody's
for
desperate.
restaurants. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We have every week the prime minister is going to talk actually tomorrow to know what's going to happen for the next few weeks. It's very scary. The wine not just winemakers, but the restaurants and bars are in a very very bad situation. And actually, to be honest with you, for the first lockdown, everybody followed that very well. Today, we still having people who are not able to keep the business, and we need to reopen the business. They're going to close school tomorrow, but the restaurants and not just the restaurants, but flower shop, library, bookshop are closed. We wonder why. We just wonder why. You can go to the metro, you can go to the grocery, you can go to the big mall, but you cannot go in a small shop. So people are getting very nervous and very anxious too.
A friend of mine from Corsica says to me that she believes the lockdown will last till February 1st, and that if they announced it now, there'd be a revolution. What do you say about that, Barney?
Very possible. Yeah. I mean, even though actually things are worse now than they were back in March, everybody's very impatient to just go back to work at this point. And, it seems kind of hopeless. I mean, compared to the US, and the French don't know this, but compared to the US, they still have it pretty good. The government is sending support money to everybody. Government's sending support money to businesses. So it's not like everybody is completely broke as they can be in the States. But everybody wants to just live their normal lives as they do all over the world. And who knows what to do? I don't know what to do. I'm still actually happier to be here in France in spite of this.
You don't miss New York.
What's that?
You don't miss New York.
Of course I miss New York, but I don't think New York is what it was when I left.
It's a shit show. It's a complete shit show.
Yeah,
it is.
And
it's horrible.
And I'm very happy to be here. We have a nice place to live here. There's beautiful nature outside the door here. We go for long walks in woods and up little hills and stuff. And so, it's a beautiful place to be. Food is very good. We buy it in the grocery stores. We do a lot of cooking, drink a lot of wine, look at stuff on the web, look at stuff on TV. I mean, we're living a relatively normal life as best as it can be.
You think, you once told me you thought you were going to retire in Beaucaire. Does this sort of kickstart the idea?
It has absolutely. It has, we're trying to get permanent residency here now, and
Yeah, I think your retirement kicked in, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to go back to New York. We have to. Our house is. We just left the house thinking we'd be away for a month, and we've been here for almost 9 months now. So,
wow. Who's taking care of the house in New York, in Brooklyn?
We're renting it to a guy from California who's taking care of our cat. He's also paying some rent. So
you got lucky. It's hard to do that now. That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Now, what about the election? Macron. I know the opinion of Macron. It's not such a good one. Sarkozy almost sounds like a breath of fresh air compared to this guy. And I know that a lot of people are very critical about Macron, and let's talk about Macron because Americans don't know much about him. They know that he's married to somebody who could have been his grandmother or his mother, and that's all they know. So give me a little political insight, Skinny, on what Macron is about and why is he with this much older woman and how come nobody seems to care?
Well, Andre, you're more familiar with the day-to-day reactions. It seems to me that I kind of like him. I think he's compared to the shit show we've had for the last 4 years in the States. He talks directly. He's honest with the French people, and he's trying to do as best as he can.
As an honest politician?
I think he's a pretty honest politician. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know all the subtleties. Andre, you would know much better than I would. What, and I know everybody hates him, but everybody in France hates every president, so I don't see any difference. Everybody hated Hollande, they hated Sarkozy, they hated it. So what's new?
I like Jacques Chirac.
He's the president, they hate him. That's the way it works.
I love Jacques Chirac, no?
What's that?
I didn't like Jospin. Jospin was gray and dreary.
Jospin was not a president, but he was a
He
prime
was
minister.
trying to be president. He can thank Le Pen for solving that problem. He was the odd man out.
But what said Barney is very true. He's absolutely very right. French people hate any kind of president. Remember Sarkozy? Of course, François Hollande was a big mistake for the country. Regarding Mr. Macron was elected. Why? Because he was nobody. He was first of all he was a minister, economy minister from the last government. And what did happen? I know pretty much the story because I follow him from the first beginning. Some friends of mine are working for the government, and honestly, I believe that we are quite lucky to have this kind of president.
Well, who's the woman he's married to? She's like 34 years older than him.
But we have a big mistake. We have a big problem with the Première Dame, with the First Lady in France, because the one from Mr. Hollande. Mr. Hollande was married and but he was dating. He was dating a lady, and he was escaping the Palais de l'Élysée with a motorbike during nighttime. So, that's true. That's
Kennedy
the
used
story.
to speak out of the Waldorf Astoria in a secret tunnel. He had an apartment on 52nd Street. Everybody's got to do what everybody's got to do,
Mr. Macron
Let's move on to our elections, because what happened here was, I don't think it's over yet. I'll explain to you in a second. Do you know what the word faithless elector means?
Yes,
we have an electoral college. Now, people don't even realize this, that during the 2016 election, there were 10 faithless electors. And what that means is that the electorate, each electorate agrees to whatever each state has chosen as their presidential, choice. But then right before that, they have to, to declare it as a legality, they mutiny. Can you do that again, Andre? C'est triste. I'm out of wine. Anyway, what is happening now is very important, because December 14th is the day that they have to declare the electorate. And all they need is 21 faithless electors to bring Biden's count below 270, and a revolution will take place, because then it goes to the Supreme Court. The thought of Trump rushing through that confirmation of that judge makes me think that he's been planning this all along. If this happens, there's going to be a civil war of a new type going on here, because there will be legal challenges from every side, and it will put the Constitution to the greatest test in the history of our country. And it will put the idea of a democracy and honesty in politics to the greatest test that's ever been. So keep your ears. December 14th is that a very important day. And then here we also have a battle in our Senate, because right now it's 50 or 49 Republicans and 48 Democrats with three more
candidates. 48. It's equal 48.
Yeah. No, but today North Carolina was declared the victor and Alaska was declared the victor. So it's now 50 to 48 with the two runoffs on January 5th in Georgia that will decide the future of the Senate. The bottom line is things are messed up here. And Biden, for whatever his criticisms people have about him, he was so needed just to bring civility back into government, civility back into the presidency. Trump led with chaos, and be prepared, because there's a lot more of that chaos. He's not gone yet. And
well, I think he fired the Secretary of Defense because he wants the ability to send the military in to kill Democrats, basically, and that's what's going to happen. I think. Oh, he fired him because Esper wasn't going to allow him to use the military to.
No, but do you think he would do something like that?
Absolutely.
How can stop him? How would they stop him from doing that?
He can't. He's the commander in chief. He can do what he wants.
You can go against the commander in chief. You can refuse to take his order.
And then the generals will fire. The generals will fire. And that may happen. That may happen. The generals will say.
Pelosi brought it up. Pelosi said she's going to review it again. Can you imagine, Andre, that we have the 25th Amendment, which, if voted on by both parties, we can remove the president of the United States and declare him unfit for office.
But the cabinet has to unanimously approve that, and they're not going to do that because they're all Trump's boys,
Right.
So for whatever hold he has on these people, they're not going to do it.
What are they saying in France about, and in Europe in general? What are they saying about, America and our elections? Because I'm very curious at the perception that people have.
Now, what do you say? Actually, I was telling you just a few minutes ago that I was looking at a TV show before, just a few minutes ago, on the French TV. Of course, all of us, we follow and spend the night. Of course, there was the night of between the 4th and the 5th of November, looking at the TV and to follow that to hopefully to have the name of the president in the morning time. And for the next days and 3-4 days, of course, everybody was looking and expecting results. And today we're still having 4 hours on the French TV talking about what is going to happen. What is going to happen? Then Mr. Biden is going to be the president. What's going to be the attitude of Mr. Trump facing the vote? Because I do believe you're still counting the vote, right?
Yeah, and they're recounting the votes by hand. And Mike Pompeo issued a crazy statement today. When they asked him about a smooth transition, his response was, "Yes, we are working on a full smooth transition to the second administration of the second Trump administration." And people are saying they don't know if he was joking or if he was just sort of putting a message out there. That's why I really think that there's something going to happen, between now and.
I agree with you.
So
it's
what do you
think? Electoral college or some other crazy shit that can happen. I mean, every day there's some new outrageous thing that Trump does, and that's why I want to try to just stay here in France and live here. It's a much more civilized place in spite
quality of life, Barney. Right? We're always talking about quality of life. You got
Absolutely.
Quality of life there.
Yeah.
And you too, Andre, right? I mean,
yes, we do. Yes, we do. When I look, and I do have many American friends, all over US, and we every week or every month we talk together. And when I see what they're facing today, just a lot, of course, the health problem. Today, the stability of America, because we are very surprised to see the way of Mr. Trump is acting in this big democracy that we all know, and this is America. That we have to think, guys, that for us, whatever people say, America is still the biggest country in the world, and we follow you like if he was your neighbor, your friend. You know, because we know our future all over the world is also depends on the politics in America. No matter what you say, America is still one of the biggest country and the big power in the world. So we expect the best from America. Honestly, I do it for the rest of the world, for my country, but also from America, because I do love your country. And I
That's
really,
a beautiful thing you just said. I like the way you put that, Andre. Very well said. Now, I want to know what you each think. This pandemic is going to get worse before it gets better. But we heard from Pfizer, and it's looking very promising. 90% effective. That's pretty incredible. But we have a long way to go. People shouldn't build their hopes up too quickly. I mean, I think we're going to get there without a problem now. But I still think we got another year. I think maybe by the summer we're going to start to see some real, possibilities. But the word normal is thrown about. I want to get my life back to normal. I want to get back to some normalcy. I want to know from each of you, what do you think normal is, and how long does it take to get it back? Barney?
Well, I think the Pfizer vaccine, first of all, from the reports I've seen about it, yes, it seems to be effective, maybe to 90%. Nobody really knows. But in order for it to be delivered, first of all, you have to get 2 shots. So for 4 billion people, you need 8 billion shots. And second of all, it has to be maintained at, I think, 50 degrees centigrade below zero, okay, for it to be effective. So very few places in the world will have the facilities to even give the vaccine, okay? So this vaccine is not going to solve the problem. There are a lot of other people trying to develop vaccines too, and I heard a report, I think Fauci even said, there's going to be more than one vaccine that will be effective, which is great. So
yeah, I think the more the merrier. We just want to get healthy again.
Absolutely.
And Andre, what's your take from a French person's perspective?
To be honest with you, when
What
I
is
hear
normal?
that, I think we could have. I think it's in 2 parts. I'm kind of worried because we know that our Western countries are going to be able to. Well, we have a question first today. They say we're going to have a 300,000 vaccine, and we are 68 million people. More or less, everybody is going to be vaccinated. But what's about the rest of the world? What's about the rest of African or India? Because that's also. I think back to normal. We're going to be one of the first countries, Europe and America, and of course, in the Western.
What is normal to you? What is normal to you? What do you consider normal? You personally.
For me, normal is be able to travel, is be able to visit my friends, is be able to go out, to go in the restaurant. Well, just sharing the life.
And to have Barney and me over your apartment to drink all your wine.
By the way, Barney, do you still having an invitation in your house to share wine?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Barney. I know that, but
you're welcome anytime. I have some nice bottles here. Actually, I can. I have to.
It feels good to hear that.
So really, fellas, wine is really the key, especially in France, to get through this pandemic, because I see the wine industry is thriving in a lot of places. I mean, for me, Irina, my wife, and myself, if it wasn't for a bottle of great wine each night or every couple of nights, we would lose it. We're keeping sane. What about you guys? It seems like you're doing the same.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
Well, look,
And
to be
I've gotten, you know, I'm sorry, Andre.
no, go ahead.
The I've been here for 9 months now. I've gotten to know a lot more of the local wineries here around Costières de Nîmes, and I've joined a club in Nîmes of mix of expats and retired French people. So I organize every month a trip to a different winery in the Costières de Nîmes. So I'm becoming like a guru here for people in the wine business. Yeah.
And what about you, Andre?
Alors, me, and Barney is absolutely right because we live in a wine region here. In other words, when I'm driving 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I still have vineyards all around. And it's true. In other words, when I'm back from my job to visit some business, sometimes some wineries for sale, I all the time come back with wine in my tank, all the time in my car. And what we do when we visit the French.
So your car doesn't
Yes.
run on petrol; it runs on.
No. Not my tank in my car. No, that's it. This is yes.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Andre doesn't admit it, but I know he bathes when he goes to sleep. He bathes in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. You know, he has.
That's why I stopped business actually in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, right? No, official cut
Guys,
it.
I have to. The show is coming to a close, and I want you each to tell me what in your bucket list when this shit storm is over. What is the first thing you want to do to celebrate your freedom? Because liberté, man, you know we are prisoners. You're in lockdown, and in some capacity, we're all prisoners of this crazy pandemic. What is the first thing you want to do to celebrate that liberté?
Go out to a restaurant, have a nice meal, you know.
Simple things.
Simple things.
Without worrying about anyone breathing on you or dripping the virus all over you or any of that crap.
I mean, we were doing that for a couple of months here anyway, and I didn't get sick, thank God, but people were getting sick, so, you know. The restaurants were busy here, but, you know, what's that?
No, I'm saying, have you seen Andre?
To be with friends again, you know, I mean, we have a nice big network of friends here, you know, and we can't see them, so it's a problem. But
isn't it great? The idea of a simple thing like getting together at night, a bottle of wine, laughing your ass off together, having a little hangover the next morning to remind you of how much fun you had.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Andre?
Yeah.
Right?
I think yes, me is going to be in two steps, and like Barney, to be with my friends, to be with you guys. You know, because we say to each other we love each other, but this is nothing feel better than to share time with you. Yeah. Second point, for the last 10 years, I wanted to, and I'm helping some children in Morocco, and the first money I will spend is to do my I was called association and to buy a small riad to make some children, to give some chance to some children that I have now with the money. That's my first money.
You're giving it back. You're paying it forward
for school and also for just for food. And I've been very lucky in my life because I wasn't supposed to have the life I have today to be even alive. And so the first money I will spend is for these kids that they have nothing to eat today, and to give them a chance. And so for that, I want to buy a small rial, and to give them the chance then to study a job. It can be a restaurateur or whatever, to give them a chance in the life. That's the first money I will spend after the lockdown.
Andre Mazzi, I'm giving you a new title, humanitarian. Forget the bon vivant. You're a humanitarian with a heart. Barney, you're my friend for over 20 years, and look at this, man. You guys are still finding ways to live your life. It's compromised a bit, but you're still finding ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
I raise a glass so that we may all be together one day when this is over to celebrate. And thank you for coming on the Alarmists. Conspiracy theories in wine tonight. I don't care. And you guys stay safe. You guys stay healthy. I wish that you and your families and your friends get through this unharmed and that we get to be together again. And then I say the same for people watching tonight. Better days are ahead. Thank you, fellas.
Let's hope so. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
God bless America.
Let's play four.
Okay.